My fiancé had just posted an intimate photo of us, only to delete it moments later. Furious, I rushed to the KTV to confront him. Instead of an explanation, he poured red wine over my head in front of everyone. As the wine blurred my vision, I heard him mock me to his classmates. "She's just a crazy stranger. How could I possibly know her?" In that moment, I shed my Cinderella persona and embraced my life as a wealthy heiress, eventually finding someone I truly loved. 6 months later, I unexpectedly ran into him at the entrance of a hotel. He was kneeling in the pouring rain, begging for my forgiveness. Just then, someone stepped up behind me, holding an umbrella over my head. "Darling, who are you talking to?" I shook my head and replied, "No one, just a crazy stranger." Chapter 1. On my birthday, I waited for 3 long hours, only to receive a photo of Jason getting cozy with another woman. The caption read, "After all the twists and turns, I always end up back with you." I typed a comment filled with confusion. "Jason, what does this mean?" Before I could hit send, he deleted the post. Acting quickly, I took a screenshot and used the location tag to find the bar. When I arrived at the booth, I saw Jason surrounded by friends, laughing and toasting with a woman dressed head to toe in designer clothes. "Jason, I heard you're getting engaged next month?" one of his friends asked. Jason leaned in and kissed the woman on the forehead. "That's right. Mandy and I have it all planned out. After the engagement, we're heading abroad for our honeymoon. And what about Sophia? We all know she's your biggest fan, even if we've never met her." The friend pressed on. "I heard she worked multiple jobs to support you through grad school and help you land a prestigious job. Won't she be devastated when you get engaged?" Jason chuckled, his voice dripping with disdain. "She did all that on her own. I never forced her. Everything she did was voluntary. Honestly, I'm getting a bit tired of her." He added, shrugging dismissively. My nails dug into my palms as I fought to contain my emotions. I had sacrificed so much for Jason, standing by him from his days of selling goods on the street to his current success. I funded his graduate studies and supported him in pursuing his dream job, all because I loved him deeply. But hearing him speak like this twisted my heart in knots. The woman nestled in his embrace leaned closer and whispered, "Jason, if I couldn't do all those things, would you still want to marry me?" "Of course," he replied smoothly. "Don't worry about anything, I'm here for you." "But what if I made a mistake?" "What kind of mistake?" he asked, curiosity piqued. She held up her phone. "I just posted a photo of us on your social media. I deleted it quickly, but what if someone saw it?" At first, Jason frowned, but then his expression softened. "Don't worry about it. Do whatever you want, my phone is yours. It doesn't matter, that person isn't important." Hearing those words, I could no longer hold back my emotions. I strode over to them, raising my hand. The moment he recognized me, he grabbed my wrist and threw a glass of red wine over me. "Who is this crazy woman? Security, get her out of here," he shouted. "Jason, who is she?" one of his friends asked, bewildered by the scene. My vision blurred, tears mixing with the scent of red wine as it dripped down my face. I heard Jason's voice, cold and dismissive. "Just a crazy stranger. How could I possibly know her?" Chapter 2. After being escorted out by security, disbelief washed over me like a cold wave. I imagined countless scenarios, yet never did I expect Jason to turn a blind eye to me. 3 years of hard work had instantly turned into a cruel joke. As fine droplets of rain began to fall outside, I meandered aimlessly along the street, feeling utterly defeated, until a black umbrella appeared overhead. "Miss, you'll catch a cold in this weather. Where do you live? Allow me to call a cab for you," a voice offered gently. "Home?" I lingered on that word, bittersweet. Ever since I packed my suitcase and left with Jason 3 years ago, the concept of home had vanished from my life. 3 years ago, I met Jason at a charity event supporting autistic children. At that time, he was a charming senior, handsome, courteous, and exceptionally articulate. He exhibited remarkable patience with the children, which only deepened my admiration. After several months of interaction, I found myself falling for him. But my family vehemently opposed our relationship. Ava, we won't stop you from dating, but you need to be cautious. Jason just graduated. What does he have? The house and car are yours. If he genuinely loves you and envisions a future together, he should strive to support himself instead of relying on you while pursuing unrealistic dreams. Ava, be pragmatic. Don't speak of dreams before you've established yourself. Yet, I was ensnared in the whirlwind of love and left home without a second thought. Initially, we sold goods on the street. Though life was less comfortable than before, we managed to get by. However, it wasn't long before everything changed. Jason got into a fight and was dismissed from his job. After several months of downtime, he began to search for work but faced relentless rejections. Ultimately, he helped me manage our sushi shop. Then, he abruptly decided to pursue graduate studies. As I increasingly worked overtime, I sometimes stayed overnight at the shop to avoid disturbing him. I believed I was doing it all for his benefit, yet arguments became inevitable. Ava, do you care so little about spending time with me? Is work your only priority? You know I struggle with insecurity. Why don't you stay home with me? Feeling exhausted, I tried to explain. Jason, this is unavoidable. You're preparing for grad school. Someone needs to bring in money. Though my intentions were noble, Jason became irate. Fine. You think I'm a burden because I'm not working. You look down on me. I'll just leave so you won't have to see me anymore. I eventually found him drunk at a barbecue stall and managed to bring him back home. Chapter 3. I ceased bringing up the shop, but he still wouldn't let it rest. No matter how diligently I tried, he always found something to criticize. One moment he'd complain that I was too loud and disrupted his resume writing. The next, he'd blame me for not waking him for interviews. Forget it. I get it, I'm always the last thing on your mind. As time passed, he began deliberately making things harder for me, resorting to threats. Jason increasingly spent nights out, returning home inebriated, neglecting my calls and texts, and growing colder by the day. Several times, I lost control, calling him for answers, but was met with silence. I've been busy all day, and you haven't even bothered to ask how I am. You just want me home. Ava, do you really think I'm cheating? Why are you so paranoid? Such occurrences became more frequent, and I shifted from anger to a numb resignation. But when I heard him utter those words today, I couldn't help but snap. When I finally came to my senses, the person who had offered me an umbrella had vanished, leaving it beside me. At that moment, my phone buzzed a message from Jason, the first contact I had in 3 months. The intimate photo was just a casual snapshot. She posted it on a whim. Don't overreact. You're being unreasonable. I returned to our shared home in the early hours, a place we had inhabited together for 3 years. My birthday had come and gone. The ice cream cake I had taken out to thaw now lay melted into a puddle on the table, and the food I left out had soured in the stagnant air. The house was strewn with Jason's dirty socks. His polished exterior was a facade, maintained by my relentless tidying. As dawn broke, I heard a noise at the door. Jason, reeking of alcohol, finally stumbled in, a faint lipstick stain marring his collar. Ava, why is the house such a mess? You've been here for hours, why haven't you cleaned up? Chapter 4. I hadn't anticipated his accusations. Instead of an explanation, the last flicker of hope within me was extinguished. I'm waiting for an explanation, Jason. If you weren't serious about us, why the lipstick mark, the embrace, the kisses, and the public declaration of your engagement? Jason responded with impatience. Ava, can you stop being so annoying? Can't you see why I had to do it? I've been under immense pressure. Every day, you pester me about job interviews. I'm human too, I get tired. I've been trying to meet your expectations. That woman can offer me a significant financial boost. You just keep piling on the pressure without offering any support. People seek improvement. If this helps me achieve my goals, what's a small sacrifice in return? I stared at Jason, feeling as though I was truly seeing him for the first time. What did you just say? Say that again. He shoved me aside. I lost my balance and collided with the edge of the coffee table, blood streaming from my face and splattering onto the floor. Jason, did you just hit me? You fell. That's not my fault. Seeing the blood on my hand, I couldn't help but laugh. At first, Jason seemed indifferent, but then panic set in, and he rushed over to cradle my face. Ava, I'll take you to the hospital. Please stop laughing, I'm begging you. When I didn't respond, he tugged at his hair and shouted. This is madness. Ava, let's break up. I stopped laughing and calmly replied. Fine, let's break up. I agree. Jason's eyes widened in disbelief. I ignored him, placing my packed suitcase by the door and wiping the blood from my forehead in the mirror. After what felt like an eternity, Jason, who had stood in silence, finally retreated to the bedroom, slamming the door shut. With my suitcase and the black umbrella in hand, I left the place we had shared for 3 years. After dropping my belongings at a hotel, I posted a transfer notice at the sushi shop, then leisurely strolled around and had lunch on a park bench. This freedom was something I could never have imagined during those 3 years. The feeling of having time to myself was almost reminiscent of a life I once lived. Looking back, Jason had controlled my every move since the beginning of our relationship. When he needed me, I had to drop everything and be there. When he didn't, I had to vanish from his sight. Any inquiry on my part was perceived as interference, no matter how well-intentioned. But if I showed even a hint of indifference, I was criticized for neglecting him. Though his internship paid little, he spent money lavishly, and my attempts to rein in his spending only led to endless complaints. He was casual about intimate gestures from other women, and when I expressed my concerns, he labeled it as me trying to control him. Ava, I'm an independent person, not your accessory. Just because I don't earn as much as you doesn't mean you can lecture me. In the name of love, I had romanticized these statements, mistaking them for care. Yet now, I recognized them for what they truly were: excessive control and selfishness. As I prepared to leave the park, an unexpected message from an unknown number chimed on my phone. Ava, it's Dad. Why is your sushi shop closed? Did something happen? If you need help, just let me know. Chapter 5. I called and found out that ever since I left home, my parents had been quietly supporting me. The sushi shop's success relied heavily on their assistance. The supplier was someone they had arranged in advance, and they had even covertly contributed to the rent and renovations. When you left with such determination, we didn't want to be too direct in our help, fearing you wouldn't accept it. So we chose to support you in this way. So, Ava, what happened? I sniffled and replied. Dad, I broke up with him. Is it still possible for me to come home? Of course, our door is always open for you. After returning home, I took a full week to rest, enjoying a life of being pampered. The wound on my forehead gradually healed. If it weren't for Jason suddenly messaging me, I might have forgotten about him entirely. I opened my phone to find him acting as if everything were fine, still showing concern. I just got off a flight from a business trip and am heading to the venue now. Take care of yourself. What was this? Sensing my unhappiness and trying to comfort me, I ignored him and turned off my phone until dinner. When I powered it back on, a flood of messages greeted me. Ava, where are you? Why aren't you replying? I told you I landed. Can't you show a little concern? Is that too much to ask? I'm at the venue. Where are you? Why is your phone off? The complaints kept rolling in. Finally, his tone softened. Sorry for being abrupt. I got worried when I couldn't find you. Let's talk after the meeting. After that, no new messages appeared, as if he had decided not to bother me anymore. But then a new friend request popped up, from someone I knew from the bar. As soon as I accepted it, he sent me a message. Why are you ignoring Jason? He can't focus on work and isn't eating well because of you. Ava, have you considered his feelings? I replied impatiently with a string of question marks. Who are you? He didn't answer my question and instead continued to scold me. Why do you care who I am? I just think it's unfair for him to suffer like this. I laughed. Are you his parent? Why should I care if he's upset? A grown man crying all day is ridiculous. Who even are you? Chapter 6. I cursed the annoying guy and immediately removed him from my friend list. Then I posted an update on social media. I shared a photo of a delicious meal, captioning it, "Enjoying a relaxing dinner with family." Before long, I received a flurry of likes. Most were from old friends surprised to see me active again, asking what was going on, thinking I had stopped using this account. I replied to them all. Hello, everyone. It's been a while. I've decided to start living well from today. If there are any singles gatherings, don't forget to invite me. Less than half an hour later, Jason messaged me. Ava, what does your post mean? What gathering? What new life? Be honest, are you breaking up with me? You mentioned breaking up before and I agreed. Now what? Regretting it? Stop overthinking. It's just a breakup. The same words had different meanings for Jason and me. In the past, I would have held back my thoughts, fearing to upset him. Now, the tables had turned, he couldn't handle my indifference. The next morning, a series of urgent calls jolted me awake. The phone kept ringing, forcing me to answer groggily. Hello! Who is this? A woman's unfamiliar voice replied. Jason rushed back because of what you said, leaving his work behind. He hasn't slept and fell ill after landing. Ava, are you serious? I was baffled. Not this again? I'll send you the address. He wants to see you one last time and promises not to bother you again. Reluctantly, I got up and headed to the villa she mentioned. A woman in a red dress greeted me at the door. Why are you so late? Jason is already asleep. Oh, he's asleep? Then I'll leave. Wait, is it appropriate to leave like this? I shrugged. What else should I do? Stay and interfere with you two? Glancing around, I added. This villa is yours, right? It doesn't seem appropriate for me to stay. She lifted her chin. Yes, it's my place. It's close to the airport, and he didn't want to go to the hospital, so I brought him here to take care of him. You didn't care for him, so I did. I looked at her with pity. Let me remind you, Jason only cares about benefits. He approached you because you have money and a villa. The engagement was just a way to deceive you. When he realizes he can't gain anything from you, he'll vanish. He's kind and considerate, not selfish like you say. Do you think a few words will make me give up on him? Impossible. I sighed. Do you think I'm saying this to compete for Jason? Sorry, once I throw away trash, I don't pick it up again. Chapter 7. I returned to my rented apartment, preparing to pack up the last of my belongings. Suddenly, I heard hurried footsteps behind me. A tall figure rushed over and wrapped his arms tightly around me from behind. Ava, where are you going? Are you really not coming back? I pried his hands off my waist and turned to face him, forcing a smile. Jason, we've broken up. Why do you care where I'm headed? I'm going where I need to be. She's just a friend helping me out occasionally. Fine, let her keep taking care of you then. But Jason wouldn't let it go. Ava, are you angry with me? I swear, I won't see any other women again. Just trust me, okay? I rubbed my temples in frustration. First of all, I don't care who you hang out with. It's none of my business, and I'm not angry. This has nothing to do with me. I feel like I've done my part. Even after we broke up, I replied to your messages and came to see you. I've been more than fair. Why can't you just let go? Ava, I just want to talk. Jason stared at me intently, then pulled me into another hug. In a moment of panic, I grabbed a vase and smashed it over his head. Blood splattered on the floor. I followed with a sharp slap, silencing him. Jason, let go of me. You make my skin crawl. I slapped him again, the red staining his swollen face like a brutal badge of shame. You want to talk? Fine, let's talk. We were together for 3 years. I fought with my family for you. I worked tirelessly selling sushi. You said you wanted to chase your dreams. I supported you. But have you achieved anything? I slapped him again, my anger boiling over. You failed your exams, you can't find a job, and now you're living off someone else? Living in her villa, using her things, and you call yourself a man? I must have been blind to ever love you. Jason weakly replied. Let me explain. Shen Shanshan came onto me. I didn't do anything wrong. It's all because of her. Don't twist the truth. If it weren't for you, there wouldn't be any conflict. My problem is with you, not her. Chapter 8. I went to pack my things. Jason stood there frowning. Ava, what are you doing? I let you hit me. Isn't that enough? What more do you want? I pushed the packed suitcase to him. Nothing. These are your things. This is the last time I'm packing for you. I thought you had nowhere to go and felt sorry for you, so I planned to leave this apartment for you. But now I've changed my mind. Jason, leave now. Take your things and get out of my house. I threw his clothes into the trash, tearing his shirt, leaving him in his underwear. I earned the down payment myself. Your clothes were bought by me. I'm leaving you the underwear for some dignity. Jason clung to the door. Ava, you're kicking me out over a small matter? I pried his fingers off. First, your mistakes aren't small. Second, this was never our home. It's my home. If you don't leave, I'll call the police. Now get out. After this, we didn't contact each other for over half a month. My cold attitude must have shocked Jason. I heard he posted many negative messages online, with Shen Shanshan comforting him under each one. Since they're so willing, I hope they stay together forever and stop bothering others. After dealing with everything, I went to my family's company, refusing my parents' offer of a high position. I started from the bottom, fully immersing myself in work. I took on all long-term overtime or travel assignments to shed the nepotism label. Half a month later, rumors spread about a new branch opening in the north of the city. The new leader was in place, looking for reliable employees. I signed up immediately. At the meeting, I found the new leader familiar. After the meeting, I kept thinking about that rainy day. The new leader approached me, bowing slightly and extending his hand. Hello, Ava. I'm Yan Fei. I instinctively reached out my hand. You're the one with the black umbrella that day? He smiled slightly. Yes, I'm the one with the black umbrella. I happened to pass by that day and saw you crying. I lent you my umbrella but didn't get a chance to leave my contact information. Have you resolved the troubles from that day? Do you still feel sad about it? I firmly shook his hand. No, that day in the rain was the last time I felt sad. From that day on, I decided to live for myself. Chapter 9. 2 months later, the new company was gradually getting on track. My life hadn't changed much, except for Yan Fei, who reminded me to drink coffee every day. One afternoon, an old college friend suddenly called. Ava, don't hang up. Remember the old student council members from college? They're married now and want to gather everyone before their trip. They asked me to invite you too. I heard you're single now, so you should be able to join, right? Before I could agree, someone grabbed my phone and turned on the speaker. Hello, Ava isn't single. She'll bring her partner. You won't mind, right? On the day of the gathering, I couldn't help but smile at the familiar location. What a coincidence, it was the same restaurant where we celebrated Jason's birthday. By the time I arrived, everyone else was already there. Hearing the noise, Jason left Shen Shan and came to greet me, seeing Yan Fei holding my hand tightly. Someone saw this and joked. "Ava, your boyfriend is so clingy. Is he afraid you'll run away?" Yan Fei smiled. "Ava is very popular, so I have to be careful not to lose her." Shen Shan sneered. "Hypocrite." I smiled and didn't respond, choosing a seat farthest from Jason. After a while, Jason came over frowning. "Ava, how have you been? Have you been resting well since you got home? I've been worried about you." Before he could finish, Yan Fei interrupted with a smile. "No need to worry. I'm taking good care of Ava." I took a sip of wine. "Indeed, Jason. Instead of circling around asking questions, why not care for the person next to you? Her glare could kill." With each word, Jason's face grew paler. He opened his mouth but couldn't say anything. But his silence didn't mean no one would speak for him. Shen Shan gave him a bowl of food and said, "Who said I'm going to eat him up? Jason is very comfortable with me, unlike someone who takes over everything and doesn't let the other person move." I understood her intention. All right, she wanted to provoke me. Chapter 10. After a round of direct and indirect confrontations, everyone knew there was something between the three of us. I sat alone in the corner, quietly drinking. Yan Fei whispered in my ear, "Ava, if you don't like this, we can leave." Just then, my colleagues called, saying there were issues at the new company. Yan Fei and I got up to leave. "Ava, why are you leaving so soon? What's the emergency?" I smiled politely. "Nothing serious, just some issues at the company that need handling." "Company issues? Jason, didn't you say Ava's job wasn't busy, and she often stayed home with you?" Before Jason could respond, Shen Shan jumped in. "Stay with you?" Jason rushed home for her and got sick, and she didn't care. In Ava's mind, work is always more important than Jason. Shen Shan's dissatisfaction was evident, her tone full of bias. I calmly said, "Indeed, work is my priority. It never disappoints me, unlike people." Hearing this, Jason couldn't hold back and stood up. "Shen Shan, shut up. This is between us. No need for outsiders to interfere." Shen Shan's voice rose, pointing at me. "Jason, are you yelling at me because of her? I've done so much for you, and you still think about her? Jason, I've given you so much, and now you owe me an explanation." Shen Shan lunged at Jason, scratching his face. The atmosphere turned icy. Yan Fei and I took the opportunity to leave, but Jason grabbed my ankle. "No, you can't leave me. Where are you going?" I pried his fingers off. "The company has a new branch. I'm going to help. What's there to hesitate about? What about me? I know I was wrong. Can't you give me another chance? Can you really abandon me? What about the promises?" Before he could finish, I kicked him aside, the sound of him hitting the floor echoing in the room. Chapter 11. "Yes, I promised to be good to you and stay by your side. I did that, but Jason, what about you? What did you do?" I took his phone, entered the password, and looked at the chat history. While I was looking forward to our future, you had already erased me from your life. I used to love you deeply, but not anymore. I don't want a shaky relationship. Jason, be rational. We've broken up. We're strangers now. Seeing my firm stance, Jason let go and sat on the floor. "Staying up late can make you sick. Remember to take your medicine and avoid late nights. I'll send you the brands of shampoo and body wash you like. You can choose yourself." I grabbed his chin. "Jason, I've changed those habits long ago. I stayed up late to prepare your midnight snacks. That cold was because you pulled me out of bed. As for those products, Jason, I switched brands long ago. You just didn't notice." He opened his mouth to speak but ended up sighing. This resolved more smoothly than I expected. Jason never appeared again as my work stabilized. I heard he and Shen Shanshan got married but lived poorly. Her family cut off financial support, but she continued to spend lavishly, as did Jason. They quickly burned through their savings. Without money, they frequently fought, annoying their friends. 2 months later, I received a call from an unknown number. "Ava, it's your senior from the last gathering. I have news, Jason and Shen Shanshan broke up." I replied calmly. "Sorry, senior. I'm getting married soon. His matters don't concern me." As I was about to hang up, she hurriedly said, "Wait, Jason wants to see you one last time and won't bother you again." I couldn't persuade him. I hung up and blocked the number. But I underestimated his persistence. Chapter 12. The next day, it poured. I rushed home, barely sitting down when there was a knock at the door. I opened it to find Jason drenched, with scars on his wrists. "Ava, I know I've done too much wrong. I'm punishing myself. After we broke up, I realized you were right. I was blind and hurt you. I was infatuated with Shen Shanshan, lost in her sweet words, not realizing they were lies. She wasn't a wealthy socialite but returned because she couldn't make it abroad. She pretended to be rich and I believed her." Jason covered his face. "She took all my money and disappeared. Even the police can't find her. I'm in debt, with people chasing me. I have nowhere to go. I deleted that account you found. If you stay in the north, I'll find a job and rent a place to take care of you. Ava, I've changed. Please give me another chance. I took a wrong turn, but we're still young. We can start over." His tone was humble. In all our time together, this was the first time I saw him so low, like I had begged him countless times. I sipped my coffee, the warmth and bitterness bringing me back to reality. "Are you done? You went through all this trouble to say that?" He panicked. What do you mean?" "I mean I was foolish to love you. Jason, I knew from the start you approached me for your benefit, but I didn't care. I knew Shen Shanshan was your ideal, but you couldn't control her. You found me decent and hardworking, so you hinted at your interest. I didn't mind because I liked you. You decided to be with me when Shen Shanshan left. You were sad and I confessed, so you agreed." Chapter 13. Jason, did you think I didn't know you were playing both sides? You wanted fun but didn't want to lose the stability and care I provided, so you hesitated. This mess is your own doing. Jason, grow up. Apologies don't fix everything." He grabbed my wrist. "Ava, what can I do to make you forgive me? On your birthday, were you going to propose? I'll agree now, okay? I won't control you anymore. I'll do anything to make you happy. Please forgive me. Jason, people change. I don't love you anymore and won't waste time on you. Our time together was an act. How can you not see that?" Seeing him speechless, I smiled. "Think about what I said, Jason. What do you think?" I turned and left, giving him my back. Returning inside, I bumped into Yan Fei, who held the black umbrella over me. "It's raining hard. Why were you standing at the door? Who were you talking to?" "No one," I said, standing on tiptoe to kiss his forehead. "Just a passerby who doesn't understand."